Okay guys, I want to take you on a full tour of the interior of this 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness, and we have some interesting stuff going on here, so let's dive right in. Starting up here and first, if you've been in modern Subarus, a lot of this stuff is going to seem a little bit familiar. Though one of the main differences with the Wilderness trim interiors is that you have this gold stitching on the steering wheel around here. You also have this gold trim, and around the gauges up there you can see the gold trim, this unique Wilderness floor mats, and these unique StarTex seats, which are water repellent, stain resistant, with the Subaru Wilderness logo in there, and more of that stitching. That's pretty much all the unique bits about this Wilderness interior, and then there's some software things we'll get into in a second. Otherwise, this is a pretty familiar interior across the new Subaru lineup. Now this one does have a few optional packages, though it doesn't have everything. We have a wireless charger over here that you can press this little button to turn on. Hopefully my phone should start charging. Sometimes it doesn't always work. I wish this little pad area was a little bit grippy, but we do have USB-A and C port over here, as well as an aux cord. We also have our heated seat controls as physical buttons here, a 12-volt socket, cup holders, and this nice center console with some nice space in there, which is cool. Our steering wheel design and our whole dash design is pretty much every single other Subaru on the market. They're all the same these days, and I wish that we had a digital dash, but we don't have that yet in the United States. They do have that in their home market of Japan, though, I believe. On the steering wheel, we have a lot of familiar buttons here. On our left-hand side, we have our controls for our radio system, as well as for our little multi-function display in this center console here. So you can press these little up and down arrows to control these little screens here. We can see our fuel economy, our tire pressures, some audio information, as well as our trip computer can be found up here. Then we do have our trip information here that can control with this separate button over here. You can see from A and B. Not the best fuel economy in this one, but it is okay for being a little off-roader. So a nice little information screen here, and that does change when you're entering these controls, which we'll get to in a second. So there's a lot of stuff over here. I like the tactility of the buttons. They actually feel quite nice, though there is a lot to get used to in your kind of thumb range area. We do have paddle shifters for our continuously variable transmission to kind of simulate those gears if you want to, but it isn't the most entertaining sounding thing. Automatic headlight controls, as well as our fog light switch right there. And on our right hand side is where we're going to find our standard eyesight safety system controls for our adaptive cruise control, as well as our steering assist here, following distance. And when we press this button, you'll see the screen will change, kind of open up a little car, and see we can change our following distance there with those little buttons there, and can turn on and off our steering assist, which is really nice. Lane keep, a departure warning is a separate thing that is off right now, which you can change in your infotainment system, though. That's one thing to keep in mind. And it is chilly today. It's only 28 degrees, but we do have a little snowflake on there to warn you that ice could be possible, which is really fun. I like how they do that. Nothing else too crazy going on here. There really aren't any controls on this side. That's about it. Now this center screen here is where you're going to be getting a lot of the business end of your information. It's pretty much your main hub for everything in this entire vehicle here, which is a lot of stuff. So as you can see here, we have wireless Apple CarPlay, which is fantastic. It honestly works decently quick enough. I wish it could be a little bit faster. Sometimes there's some lag, but that's with all wireless CarPlay systems. You can use things like Apple Maps on here, and this will actually have some turn-by-turn directions in the center display, though it won't kind of put a map up here, obviously, because there's really no display for you to do that. And you can use obviously Waze, and there's no built-in navigation system on here as far as I can see. So you're really going to be relying on either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and it works fine. The integration isn't the best thing on the planet. You have this display up here, which is always here. You also have your climate controls and this bar, which is always here. So it's a little bit cluttered looking, but it is nice that Apple CarPlay does take up a big portion of the screen, which is a nice function and very easy to access right there. We have our climate controls down here, which are always down here, on and off, pretty easy to turn on and off. You have additional climate settings, and this screen right here, we kind of control your temperature. You can sync up your temperatures as well, which is nice. You can turn on all or off some of the vents, which is interesting, so we can have it focused on different sections up here. So dual zone climate control. We also have these hard buttons here for our temperature controls, but that's the only real hard buttons for our climate, other than our defrost and our de-icer in the back, which is nice. Big giant hazard switch right there, and we have a volume knob as well as a tune knob. So nothing too crazy in terms of physical controls in this here. A lot of stuff is now digital. I do like this multi-function display up here, which is pretty cool. So here you can kind of see some information like weather, as well as your X modes. So you have deep snow, mud, snow, dirt, and normal. You can see those change up here as well. give you a little graphic, which is kind of fun. And these will actually turn on, which if I go into the car information display, this will turn on your hill descent control when you're in snow dirt. So you can see hill descent control has been turned on for snow and dirt, as well as deep snow and mud. So when we're going down a hill, that will automatically activate. Normal mode, that is not on. I like these little animations that Subaru give you for your different drive modes as well. It's really cool. You can see your all-wheel drive system, and when you're moving, you can see the power distribution on there, which is kind of cool. And it'll show you which wheels are slipping when you're in those different scenarios, which is kind of fun. So I love that little play on the graphics there. And you also have your kind of different angles if you're going to be on an off-road situation that could help you with that information as well. So cool information display here. Nothing too crazy or in-depth or detailed, but it has a nice amount of stuff. You have some maintenance options as well on here. Not the most amount of information, and I think you actually need to have a Subaru subscription to kind of do automatic maintenance scheduling and stuff. So that's one thing to keep in mind. A lot of things are requiring subscriptions these days, which is interesting. And that's pretty much it on here. There isn't that much stuff. You have your apps. You can kind of see Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, and your My Subaru stuff. My Subaru will kind of bring you make an appointment, roadside assistance, and concierge if you have it set up. You also have some other media options in here. So you have Bluetooth, USB, Apple CarPlay, and I believe we have an aux control as well. And we also have our phone, which should bring us right into Apple CarPlay when we have that turned on. And same thing with on the steering wheel. If you press the phone, it should bring you right into Apple CarPlay, which is kind of cool. And that's pretty much it. You do have some other shortcuts you can make on here. Add a shortcut, you can pick through all these different settings if you want to. But not too many in-depth kind of details and options here. Now in settings, things do get a little bit busy. You have a whole bunch of general settings here. You can see in, let's see if you can find our safety system, so in the car settings, you can see your eyesight settings here. That's going to kind of bring up your pre-collision braking, lane departure, which is, I believe, is off right now. You can change the different functions for that. And they'll take that little light off on the dash there. Defogger, a bunch of other kind of convenience features. There's quite a lot of stuff in here. It has automatic headlights as well as steering headlights as well, your X modes, and all the different units and stuff in here. So there's a lot of settings in here. I believe it also has a wireless hotspot as well. You can turn on and off. So there's a pretty nice amount of settings here. You can change your cruise control acceleration too, which is pretty cool. Dynamic, standard, comfort, eco, auto vehicle hold, vehicle dynamics control, and a whole bunch of other stuff in here. So some configurable things. 99% of the time just in Apple CarPlay though, using that, which is pretty easy to use. And the rest of the interior doesn't have the most high-tech stuff. You can get an optional rear mirror which has home link, as well as I think auto dimming. This one's manual dimming and no home link on this one. It's another extra cost. You can also opt in for LED lights in the interior, which is not standard for some reason. This also, I believe, doesn't have LED lights in it. It's just a regular incandescent style light. You can see on this mirror as well, though. That is nice that we do have mirrors. We don't have folding mirrors in this one, though. They are heated. I don't believe they are auto dimming though. Just heated side mirrors as well. So that's pretty much a nice full tour of the interior of this Crosstrek Wilderness. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little tour. Audio system in here, just to quickly point out, we have a Harman Kardon audio system on this one. Honestly, very good audio quality. We can hold this button down to open the tuning settings. That'll just bring up your equalizer as well as your balance and fader. And honestly, very good audio system for this vehicle. I was actually pretty impressed by it. It isn't the most outstanding thing, but good, clear sound, decent bass quality as well. I was shocked how good it was. So honestly, if you want that as an option, I would definitely get it. Huge improvement over the standard audio system. Okay, let's go take a tour of the rear end of the Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. Nice wide door opening, and it pretty much opens almost at a 90-degree angle, which is really nice. Easy access, really wide opening. I don't like how Subaru kind of cheapened out on the door panels for this updated Crosstrek. It's this giant gray black plastic and plastic down here. You kind of get that StarTex material here, which is a water repellent material Subaru kind of devised. It's not leather, it's like kind of like a vinyl-ish material, but it's very soft and grippy, which I do like. You can kind of see that copper yellow accents around it, which is really cool. So let's hop inside, see what we got. Before we even hop inside, we can see those little cool mountain accents here and on the all-weather floor mats. Hopping in, pretty easy. solid thunk from this door right here. I do like how there's a lot of glass in this interior, so you always have a good amount of view, even if for rear passengers. But it's a little bit tight in here with leg room. I have a lot of foot room, though my legs are hitting this front of this seat. This is my seating position. I definitely could be sitting up a little bit closer, but this is, if someone is really tall, this is what they're going to have to experience for the rear passengers. I do like how we get the all-weather floor mats. That's a very nice touch, especially for these adventurous all-weather conditions that you will be doing in your Crosstrek Wilderness. We do only have a USB-C and A outlet, no air vents back here, or no rear heated seats. The seats themselves are comfortable, though they are a little bit short on thigh support. That would be a little bit nice to have. That can improve that. And we do have a center folding armrest here with 2 cup holders, which is a nice addition. And you do have some child anchor points down here for a car seat. On the driver's side, we don't get a little storage cubby behind the seat, which is a little bit unfortunate, though we do have that on the passenger side here. The whole seat is wrapped in that kind of water repellent, durable StarTex material, though, which I honestly do quite like. I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but it's definitely obviously nicer than a cloth option, especially for a adventure-focused vehicle. You could technically fit 3 people back here, though it's going to be tight. Sitting behind the passenger seat, you can see it's moved up just a little bit more. And I have a little bit more leg room and knee room. Pretty good cutouts in the seat, though, which is nice. And thankfully, the sunroof does not kind of intrude on the rear headroom space. It kind of has a nice sculpture up here. And there's a lot of actually nice rear headroom back here. I think I would say I have about an half an inch to an inch of rear headroom, which is pretty fantastic. And you have pretty quick, easy access right into the trunk back there as well. And again, it doesn't feel too cramped and dark back here, though. Definitely, if you're going to want some more space, you're going to want to upgrade to a Subaru Forester. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me on this quick tour of the interior of the Crosstrek Wilderness. And as always, stay tuned for more coming on Allcarnews. Cheers.